believe in you, Santa.
When I saw the title of this film, Violent Night, I thought, well, that's cute. You know, it's a play on Silent Night. And then I watched the movie and went, I don't know if you got the title right. Like it should be like Extremely Violent Night or Very Violent Night, Gruesomely Violent
Wow.
Night.
Violent is not enough for you. The word violent is not enough for you. You need more adjectives. I'm sorry. Violent sums it up. But yes, it has extreme violence, doesn't it?
I mean, a lot.
Yeah.
I'm curious, is playing Santa like, you know, something that was on your bucket list? Is that something that an actor wants to do?
No, never in a million years. I mean, there's like, you know, Hamlet and King Lear and things like that. But I mean, Santa, you know, the funny thing was, I just never thought I'd be invited into that world. So you don't really consider it. It's not really, I mean, I'm sure there's people out there that do, like, if I was like Wilford Brimley or something. I mean, I guess there are people who are like, one day I'll play Santa, but not for me, because I've always been kind of a complicated guy. And, you know, look at the characters that people like me for. They're usually complicated individuals. And so something about Santa that seemed pretty straight ahead. But when this came to me, I was like, oh, well, this is a Santa Claus movie that I could play, because this is a pretty complicated Santa Claus. But one of the great things is I do like the fact that people have these movies they watch every year for Christmas that puts them in the holiday spirit. And the greatest thing about this movie, in my mind, is that it does have this extreme violence. And at the end, it feels like a Christmas movie. Like you walk out of the theater feeling that Christmas spirit when this magic happens at the end of the movie. And so I was, you know, once I got the part, once we started getting into it, I was really, you know, the violence and the humor sort of took care of itself. It was really preserving that story of like, we want to make Miracle on 34th Street. We want to make It's a Wonderful Life. We want to make these movies that, even though you've gone through this wild ride, at the end of the day, you feel like you understand Christmas.
But I feel like now we've opened the door to having R-rated, extreme violent versions of every holiday film. So what's going to be next after a Christmas movie that's R-rated?
I mean, I've already pitched a bunch of my very cool actor friends, you know, the Easter Bunny. I feel like that is a creature that is little understood in our year. I mean, the great thing about this universe, the Santa Cinematic Universe, we do have these things like this guy in a red suit who comes down a chimney once a year and like comes into your house and nobody cares. Nobody calls.
Yeah, and he fills your socks with
candy
and gifts.
I mean, who is this guy? Like, what is his deal? And so our movie attempts to somewhat understand that guy. And I feel like, yeah, there's a ton of other, you know, you got the Easter Bunny. It's like, what's up with him? And then the Tooth Fairy. Writing her letters and like she's coming to take your teeth and leave you.
What's he doing with our teeth?
Where does she get all that money? How does, you know what I mean? Who's funding the Tooth Fairy? I think
we need to get to the bottom of this.
Yes.
When you play Santa, I feel like it is the pinnacle thing here is getting the ho, ho, ho correct. So how much time did you actually spend on nailing it for this version of Santa?
I did spend a lot of time. I mean, it's a sort of pivotal point in the movie. He talks about it a little bit, that it is his iconic thing. And in the beginning of the movie, he can't do it. It literally sticks in his throat until the end of the movie when he finds it. So it's funny, we did shoot it a bit sequential. So in the beginning, I had to do this thing where I had to look at the picture and sort of, but I couldn't find it. And as the movie went on, as we did all this fighting, all the heavy breathing that was going on in the middle of these jujitsu competitions I was doing, it sort of came out by the end of the film. And I really liked what I found, but it sort of spontaneously grew inside me as we shot the movie.
So I want to go through a few of your characters here and let me know if they would be on the naughty list or the nice list. So let's start with Jim Hopper from Stranger Things.
I mean, if my Santa's making the list, then yeah, you put him on the nice list. But the thing about him is he'd be too embarrassed to be on that list. We wouldn't want anyone to know.
This one might be easy, but Hellboy.
Yeah, again, like Hellboy's on the nice list.
Wow.
Again, he's a guy that like saves the world, like here's what he's got some issues, absolutely. But you got to look at people's actions in the gestalt of their behavior as opposed to simply their name.
And one more. How about your character from Black Widow?
Red Guardian, yeah. I mean, unfortunately, he's the only one who's probably on the naughty list because he's just too much of a narcissist to really care about others at this point. He needs to overcome that. So, Santa, you're just getting cold this year, pal.
Well, thank you so much, sir. It's always a pleasure to chat with you. Congratulations on this violently entertaining film.
Thanks.